Welcome back, everybody, to the Renaissance Humanism podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Riley. In today's episode, I will be discussing femininity, womanhood being erased from modern entertainment. This podcast is very much dedicated to the women who listen or view my content. I want to know how you view the topic and your perception of femininity and womanhood in entertainment and culture over the last 15 to 20 years. From my perception and understanding, it appears that femininity and womanhood are being replaced with androgyny, typically used to describe a person's appearance or clothing having elements of both the feminine and masculine. Is this a good or bad element in popular culture? Or is it merely the changing of the fashion? For instance, people born between 1946 and 1964, they grew up with Marilyn Monroe and preferred a woman with large breasts and more feminine bodies. For Generation Z, not Generation Z, Generation X, born between 1965 and 1980, they preferred the cocaine look, the plastic look of the 1980s, and cocaine look of the 1990s. Over the last 20 years, in terms of popular culture, preferences have moved for women with wide hips, which is the historical norm, large breasts, and figures more exotic, such as the Kardashian look. Now the Kardashians are taking out their Brazilian butt lifts and other surgeries and implants to give them more of a thin look. Still regarding animations and television series and other entertainment mediums, there has been a replacement with more gender neutral characters that appear androgynous. Is this a bad or good for young women and girls, particularly women growing up in a culture with the promotion of androgyny? Furthermore, they're not exposed to female figures or protagonists that look feminine, such as the hero Ellen Ripley, who first appeared in the 1979 horror hit movie Alien. The female action heroine from the Alien franchise movies was a recurring character portrayed by the actress Sigourney Weaver. Uh, are young women, particularly women going through puberty, are not being exposed to femininity in an optimistic viewpoint due to the promotion of masculine values in the culture over feminine values, and just being pushed onto young women? Is it harmful or is it a natural process for women to go through due to being such a young age, from the age of puberty till their late 20s, being perceived primarily by their sexual value and hotness, particularly within that age group? That's usually the peak of the female hotness on average. Obviously, there's modern health, modern medicine, modern surgeries, as well as having a diet as well and exercise, which can also factor into that as well. You are being seen as a sexual object, valued for your sexual value. Does this make young women reject their natural femininity in favour of being more masculine? Or could it even be the culture is rejecting femininity, that young women are being told to man up and men are being told that they should woman up regard to gender roles? Would both sexes on average, would they be happier in traditional gender roles? When I talk about gender roles, I don't mean the 1950s housewife. I mean a woman performing into her divine feminine and a man comfortable in his divine masculine, where both parties can be their masculine and feminine behaviours and can work together in a common partnership. Historically, before the start of the Industrial Revolution in 1769, women worked just as much as the men in the British Isles and around the world as well, working in the field, creating clothing, cooking, and working household industries. It would only be a brief time, particularly between the 19th and 20th century, also particularly for military as well, where women were confined to the house and doing domestic roles, with industrial jobs being created which outsourced traditional domestic chores, due to the invention of the washing machine and freezers. So, what conservatives push for in regard to traditional housewife is not traditional. It's just a small phenomenon that existed very briefly and is not the norm in human history. I should make this clear because femininity in popular culture is often confused with the 1950s housewife or somebody who is unmotivated. It could be this attitude of particular moment in history that influenced girls and women as well not to be feminine. I'd also say that again, technology that influences as well, and that's why the 1950s house set was created just because technology replaced the roles traditionally women used to perform. I hope we've all helped and enjoyed today's podcast. Thank you for listening. I hope you all enjoy the holiday season and peace out.